Thank you, Senator White, for being here. Thank you all for being here. I am going to be speaking very briefly because you need to understand we're not here to tell you what we think you ought to be doing or what we're doing in Denver. We are here to learn. And we want to find out as we go around the state. We're doing 18 stops over the next 5 days. Our next stop today is Craig. We end up in Grand Junction. And just looking at the demographics for those three communities, as I was on the bus ride up, dramatically different communities with dramatically different needs. And when I come in here to Steamboat, come here to Rock County, I see an incredible school building with things like smart boards and a college participation rate. And when I look at the percentage of the population here, adult population, who have earned a college degree, it's very, very high. And in fact, your educational needs look minor, inconsequential compared to some of the communities we're going to visit. And yet, they're not. You know, Dr. Meeks mentioned, you've got, just like we see everywhere in the state, changing demographics in the lower grades. You have many more English language learners. You have many more students who are struggling to read at grade level. And so we're out to talk about that 30% roughly of kids in Colorado who leave third grade not reading at grade level. Because we know that same 30% or more who are likely to drop out, to not go on to college and not complete college successfully. And we know that's critically important because when we look at the projected job growth in this state over the next decade, we know about 2/3 of those jobs are going to require some kind of post-secondary credential. And too many of our young people are not prepared to earn, to move into post-secondary enrollment and complete. And that's really what we need to be focused on. But when we talk about third grade literacy, we also want to make it real clear, we're not just talking about third grade, clearly, because that's not where it all happens. Where it all happens is really that 0 to 8, and that's where we really need to be focused. And it's not something that only happens in the schools, where if a kid isn't reading at grade level, where we know that the problem is bad schools or bad teachers, we know that's not the problem. We know that our schools and our teachers need support from all of us and throughout the communities. And so what we're hoping to do is, again, generate some awareness, some excitement, create, in essence, a social movement around the importance of early literacy. We know it's critical to this state's long-term economic growth and sustainability. Look at a couple of the announcements just in the last week about new businesses that have decided to relocate to this state, move their headquarters, or expand their operations. And they're talking about creating a lot of jobs, but those jobs are jobs that are going to require a post-secondary credential. We want to make sure our kids are ready to move into those jobs. And when I say our kids, I really mean all of the kids in the community. When I look at you, and I think probably a lot of middle-class folks who care about their kids and who can't imagine that their kids wouldn't be fully functioning literate at third grade. But as you look deeper into the community, you know that's not universal. You know not every kid is being prepared and is entering entering school ready to learn, much less leaving third grade with the reading skills necessary to succeed. That's what we need to focus on. So as we're going out around the state, we want to find out what different communities are doing, what kind of challenges they face in their schools, and how we can take what we learn back to the legislature and talk about public policy that will improve opportunities and outcomes for all kids. But a lot of that isn't going to be a result of legislation. It's really going to be the result of the work within the communities. So we, again, want to learn what you're doing, what you see is working, what you think the state could do to help you, other than send you more money, because that ain't likely to happen. But that's a challenge we all face, you know. And I know as we go into communities and say, what can we do to help? I know the simple answer is quit cutting our budgets. Well, that is the simple answer, and it's important, but the reality of our budget situation is that you're not going to be getting new money for schools, not anytime soon. And so we need to figure out how to be effective. And again, that means looking beyond the schools and looking to all of you to help us, to help schools, and mainly to help our kids. So thank you. Again, we're here to listen, not to talk at you. And after Christine's presentation, we're going to hear a little bit about how we want this community conversation to take place. Thank you very much for your interest.